with your cake batter, just like this. Now that they're all ready, you just want to pop them into your oven, again set at 350 degrees, and let it cook for at least 35 minutes. You should still check on it from time to time. And I place mine onto the middle rack. It's already set at 350 degrees temperature, and because I might need a reminder, I'm going to set the timer for 35 minutes. You can do yours if you need something different, maybe 20 minutes to remind you to go and check on it. 35 minutes start, and while that's baking, you can then start to prepare your frosting for your cupcakes. So let's show to make that homemade from scratch frosting. Let's come right over here, and while you're baking your cupcakes, you don't want to have too much loud noise because then that dough or bread could start to sink. So try to do your other projects a little more quietly. Now, whatever flavors that suit your fancy, I would say use ingredients for that. For these cupcakes, want to do a glazed frosting. So I'm going to start by pouring in the main ingredient, which is powdered sugar, right into my mixing bowl. And notice I have a smaller mixing bowl than the bigger one for the cupcakes because it's not going to be a big amount, a large amount of frosting. So you pour in your powdered sugar, at least about a cup. If you need more, certainly feel free to add to it. Of course, you need your sugar. Now, if you want to use white sugar, you can do that. You can also use brown sugar, again, depending on the flavors that you want. So I'm adding sugar, about another cup and a half, perhaps. Absolutely, you need vanilla flavoring. If you don't like vanilla, feel free to use almond or whichever other flavors that you like. I am going for the vanilla. So I'm going to pour about a tablespoon of vanilla into my mixture. Add a little good old butter again. Now you can use about a third cup of a stick of your butter or margarine. But again, if you can't eat it or you don't want to, swap it out for something else such as an oil, as I said, coconut oil or olive oil. So now that that's ready, take your whisk or your spoon and just start to stir it. Now you notice mine is a little thick, and so remember, if it comes out too thick, you need to add some liquid. And actually, you want to put in, even if it's not thick like this, you still want to add about 2 to 4 tablespoons of water. So let me pour in just a little water right over here. And you can use bottled water or you can use your sink water if it has a filter in it. About 2 to 4 tablespoons of it. If you go over, don't worry, add a little extra sugar, powdered sugar, because that's going to make it a little more thick. That way you don't have that soupy, flimsy cake frosting, right? No one wants that. So you have to mix it in. You're going to want to taste it throughout to make sure that it's to your desire. And mine is still a bit watery, so I need a little more sugar, powdered sugar, because that is the main ingredient that makes the frosting. This is your base. And there's nothing wrong with having it a bit sweet. You actually want your frosting to be sweet. Now, this is going to be a glazed frosting, but I like the flavor of cinnamon, so I'm going to add a tad bit of cinnamon frosting. I'm sorry, cinnamon sugar to my mixture, just a little bit. Not too much to brown the color or to change the entire flavor, but just to enhance it a bit more. You whisk that in there, stir it around. And it's prepared and ready just in time for your cupcakes when those are ready. So it's been 35 minutes, and I know that because the oven just alerted me. So let's go ahead and check on it and take out our cupcakes. Oh yes, these look delish. I like mine to have this nice golden brown color. Just like this. That way I know they're cooked to flavor and all the way through. One way I can test to make sure that the cupcakes are ready are just by sticking either a toothpick or a fork inside the center of the cupcakes. Let me show you an example. So I have my toothpicks here, and one is good. You just want to stick them in, a few of them right in the center. If it comes out clean like this, that means that your cupcake is ready. Even better, because you get to enjoy it that much faster. So you can just put it inside a couple of them just to test them. And it looks like my toothpick is clean. So they're definitely ready to eat. What we'll do next is be very careful, the pan is hot. Is take it over back to the island so that we can begin frosting. Now I had to add a little more cake flour to my frosting batter to thicken it out. The sugar is pretty thin, so it didn't thicken it as much as I wanted it. So I added some of the cake flour from our cupcakes, and that gave it a little more fluff. And all you want to do is take a knife or a spoon and dip it into your batter. Frost the tops of your cupcakes, and if you want to finish off with sprinkles or nuts, whatever it is that you desire, you can do that. I'll show you just how I'm going to finish off mine. And take a look at these fabulous cupcakes. I topped mine off with some shelled walnuts, and they're perfectly round. So I'm going to use my cupcakes on my cake plate. Place them onto my cake plate. And watch how easily these come right out of the cupcake pan, because again I used that non-stick cooking spray. Now you might be wondering, where's the frosting? It's on there. But I made a glazed frosting for these cupcakes. So it looks very sheer, but it's going to be very yummy. And the walnuts stick right on top of it. So when you're stacking your cupcakes onto your cake plate, you want to put the smaller ones on top and the bigger ones on the bottom to scale it. We do this with furniture, as I showed you prior, but also when baking. Bigger on the bottom, smaller on the top. And ta-da! You have a delicious, homemade, from scratch, from you, cupcakes. Now I made mine with, again, my own homemade glazed frosting, and I added some shelled walnuts on top. But you can add any toppings of your choice, whether it's another nut, a pecan, which are very delicious, an almond, or even sprinkles or cereal if you like. All that's left for you to do is take off of that apron. Really, it was just there to make it look like you knew exactly what you were doing in the kitchen. And take a cupcake, pull up a chair, let someone else handle the cleaning. It's time for you to enjoy your cupcake. Remember to check us out here and subscribe to our channel. Come back next time and see what we're doing. Until next time, adios. Oh my gosh. This is so delicious. You have to try your cupcakes. Enjoy.